The Toy Story trilogy seems to hold a special place in everyone's heart. It reminds us all of a simpler time in our lives when we had a loving and devoted relationship with our toys. It also made us question whether or not our toys had a secret sentient life, but that's besides the point. One of the most heartbreaking moments in the movie trilogy was learning about Jesse's past, how she was abandoned by her owner Emily. No relation, I swear. But folks on the internet have made this stunning connection. Could Andy's mom actually be Jesse's original owner, Emily? Now, Pixar is known for its Easter eggs in movies, but this theory states that it is absolutely canon that in the Toy Story universe, Andy's mom, Mrs. Davis, is Jesse's original owner, Emily. Well, let's look at Andy's cowboy hat from the first Toy Story movie. It looks an awful lot like Jesse's, which we don't see until Toy Story 2. Both hats are a reddish color with a white stitching around the rim. One difference being the white ribbon around Jesse's hat, which is missing from Andy's, but is instead replaced by a slightly faded circle where a ribbon could have once been. Could this have possibly belonged to Andy's mom when she was a kid? In Toy Story 2, Andy's mom mentions that Woody is an old family toy. Unlike Andy's other toys, Woody doesn't seem to know where he came from, which is evident in Toy Story 2 when he discovers that he was an icon in the 50s with his own TV show and whole line of merchandise. He doesn't even know that he has partners like Jesse and Bullseye and the Prospector. Now, I'm not going to break your heart by retelling Jesse's backstory. I'll let Sarah McLachlan do that. But her owner Emily grew up with Jesse very similar to how Andy grew up with Woody. Jesse and Emily were very close, but eventually Emily grew up and gave Jesse away. But let's look back at that montage from Toy Story 2. We see a hat on Emily's bed that's very similar to Andy's hat at the beginning of Toy Story. Also, clues in that montage show that Jesse was with Emily somewhere between the 60s and the 70s. We also never see Emily's face. We only see a quick shot of her hair when she's a teenager, which is a short auburnish color. Compare that to Andy's mom's hair, which arguably changes a lot throughout the trilogy. But as time goes on, we can assume that it lightens or that she dyes it. Let's recap what we have so far. We don't know Andy's mom's first name, and we also don't know Emily's last name. The hats are very similar. Based on clues of a time period in the montage, Emily would be old enough to be Andy's mom. So could Andy's mom really be the original owner of Jesse? It's hard to believe that the mother of Andy, a boy who loves his toys so much, would so easily give away her favorite toy as a child. Of course, Andy does seem to forget Woody and his other toys as he gets older, but he looks at them so fondly before he decides to donate them in Toy Story 3. And at the beginning, he even decides to keep Woody and bring him to college with him. Also, Andy's mom seems to have no reaction when he sees Andy's new Jessie toy in Toy Story 2. Whether it was the same Jessie doll or not, wouldn't his mom have some sort of memory of the toy she was so attached to as a child? And Jessie has some pretty vivid memories of Emily, and yet shows no recognition of Andy's mom. So while these are rather arbitrary, let's actually look at some real facts. Toy Story 2 was actually never intended to be made. Pixar didn't anticipate being able to make a sequel when the first Toy Story came out. So because they made the first film with no intention of making a second film at all, they probably modeled Andy's hat with no running story behind it. In fact, that hat was modeled for Andy before the Jessie model was even created. At the time Toy Story 2 was being made, 3D computer animation was still very new and very expensive. It's likely that Pixar just wanted to use the same or a very similar 3D model to save time and money for the sequel. Even more evidence proving this theory unlikely. According to the Art of Toy Story book, Andy's mom's name is Jennifer Davis. The book apparently shows a copy of an early recording script where Andy's mom is referred to as Jennifer Davis. Unfortunately, we couldn't find a picture of this, so you guys will just have to believe me. Andy's hat has a pointed crown, whereas Jessie's is completely round. The only real similarities between the two hats is the color and the white stitching around the rim. Pixar is definitely known for their Easter eggs, but Jessie's abandonment is a huge emotional factor in Toy Story 2's plot. If Pixar had really intended for Andy's mom to be Emily, wouldn't they have made it a much bigger deal? I love the idea of a connection between Jessie and Andy's mom. But I also like to believe that the entire Davis family loves their toys unconditionally and would never abandon them. So on the plausibility meter, I'm going to give the Andy's mom conspiracy 2.5 Snakes in my boot, out of 5. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Cartoon Conspiracy. As always, let me know in the comments what you thought of this conspiracy and what you thought of my rating. If you guys have your own conspiracy that you'd like us to cover, please email us. Email us a conspiracy or a video or anything. We'd love to hear them. If you're interested in joining the channel Frederator Network, click around here somewhere and there will be an option to do that. It's somewhere around here. Make sure you guys check out that preview for next week's episode and catch up on any episodes you might have missed. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.